says live. I guess we're live. Hello, chat. Hello, Roger Ver, legendary Bitcoin investor. First guy to do a lot of things. Has a lot of Bitcoin, owns Bitcoin.com, or has a ton of influence it. Richard Hart here. Thought leader, lol. Just a crypto longevity self-help guy. Want Bitcoin to do really well. I set up a structure for this here debate. We're going to be first talking about things we agree on, which is a lot. Then I'll try and steelman his argument, present the best version of it I'm capable of. And then if he's satisfied with it, then we can go on to, the disagreement stuff. So Roger, you're a libertarian. You like voluntarism?
Yep. I prefer the word voluntarist to libertarian, since lots of libertarians in the U.S. aren't actually libertarians anymore. But I'm a voluntarist in the sense of Murray Rothbard and those sorts. All
right. So I think we agree on fungibility, the right of one person to transact in commerce with another person without a bunch of third parties getting in the way, injecting their nose where it doesn't belong, creating misincentives, mall incentives, overregulation. I think we're both against those things.
Yeah, I think 90% of what we talk about, I think all of our end goals are probably almost identical, and we just see different means to achieve those goals. And we probably just disagree on the means to achieve those ends. That's where I'm guessing this is going to head today.
All right. So what else? We believe in living in nice places and I guess promoting our beliefs. We both have strong beliefs and we go about promoting them in public. So I guess we're kind of advocates for the things we believe in. And I used to do martial arts, but nowhere near as cool as what you've done or for as long. So I guess that's the extent of our easy to find agreements. So I'd like to try and steelman what I believe are your arguments that I've heard recently, above and beyond those ones that we just went over. Would that be all right with you? Can I present what I think your arguments are? Okay.
Go for it. And if it's okay, I'll jump in if I hear a part where I disagree with.
All right. So Roger Ver was one of the first investors in the Bitcoin space, one of the first evangelists. He's gotten a lot of people into this ecosystem. He's offered a lot of liquidity. I believe he still holds a lot of equity in companies in the Bitcoin space. And from what I hear, he owns a lot of Bitcoins themselves, which means that he truly cares. He has skin in the game. And, he's been out there giving talks and dedicating his life to this for a very long time. And he interacts and debates with people that they aren't out there promoting to the public as much as he is. They don't use Bitcoin to transact as often as he does. They don't remember what it was like when fees were so low you would never, ever even think about them. And, this system used to be a lot more decentralized. Everyone ran a node because you could mine on your CPU. So you would just run the node at the same time that you were mining on your CPU. There was 30,000+ nodes. Now I think there's under 1,000 or whatever it is. It's some not large enough number to support the 50, 60+ billion-dollar market cap of this system. So what he's seen over the years...
I'm pretty sure it's more than 5,000 nodes that accept incoming connections, and probably tens of thousands that don't accept incoming connections.
Yeah, and then we'd have to subtract all the ones that are controlled by the same central party through AWS, which we don't know how to really discount all of those that are like centrally controlled by the same guy. It'd be like, instead of having multiple newspapers, you just have more copies of the same newspaper. It's important to have geographically redundant and game theory redundant differences in your nodes, I think. So,
sure. And I just looked it up. There's 9,240 nodes that accept incoming connections. And then there's probably somewhere in the order of 10 times that don't.
I wonder how many millions of dollars of equity that is per node. What's 60 billion divided by 9,000? Makes you wonder. So, I thought that, well, I won't go into why I think more people should run nodes, but if you own Bitcoin, shouldn't you run a node? Shouldn't you want the ecosystem to work? Shouldn't you want people to be able to download the chain faster, from a good, honest connection that you operate? So what Roger's seen over the years is, the old guys that used to develop the software, they stopped. Satoshi stopped. Matti Malmi stopped. Gavin Anderson stopped. Mike Hearn stopped. And they kind of stopped before they stopped. Like Mike Hearn really didn't even work on the main Bitcoin. He worked on his own kind of J implementation of it. It was different. And if you look at the commits, even Gavin, he worked a lot more on theory than he did on like figuring out writing code at some point. So now there's a whole bunch of new guys in charge. And I think from Roger's perspective, he's concerned that they don't understand the economics. They've had disagreements with Mike Hearn and Gavin Anderson, unresolvable disagreements to where there was a split. You know, Gavin went and did a lot of testing and said he tested up to 20 megabyte blocks and it worked fine. So if you're not a technician and you're not doing the research yourself, you got to decide who you're going to trust. Are you going to take the word of the guy that's been there from the beginning and spoken and worked with Satoshi? Or are you going to trust these new guys? New guys that apparently don't hold enough Bitcoin, don't incentivize the people enough, have a misunderstanding of economics, want to see full blocks, tried to pump a fee market, say that fees are good, which has hurt the user experience, slowed everything down. And, and they appear in effect to kind of look like they're colluding with with Themios and Bitcoin Talk and Bitcoin Reddit with not letting Roger get his position out there. That
if I can jump in on one part there. So I guess in regards to the censorship, I'm not upset that they're not letting me get my position out there because I have a loud voice. I have a loud platform. You know, I have about 100,000 followers on Twitter. I can get my opinion out. The people that I'm really upset with are the people that aren't me, and they're just somebody on the internet who have an opinion, and their posts will literally be deleted from our Bitcoin or Bitcoin Talk if they post something that's not towing the party line. So I have a loud voice. I can get my opinion out there, but everybody else isn't able to with the moderation policies that are going on at the moment. So, but overall, you've done a great job steel manning my position. So please feel free to continue.
All right. So high fees, disagreements with the original devs regarding the feasibility of things that may bring fees down, economic theory complaints regarding the desire for full blocks, censorship. Let me think. I think I got it. I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
I think you got it pretty well. Maybe I can clarify a little bit where my biggest fear comes in. And my biggest fear at this point, as someone that's a holder of Bitcoin and, the CEO of Bitcoin.com and someone who's poured my heart and soul into this for about 7 years now, is that we had the formula that brought Bitcoin from 0 to 1, from absolutely nothing to this amazing ecosystem that it is today. And that formula within the last year has intentionally been changed. And that formula was letting the blocks get as big as they need to be and keeping the fees low, and the transactions, all of them would be confirmed in the very next block. And that brought Bitcoin from nothing to, 10 plus million users. And now we have a group of people that are actively trying to change that code for success that we know for sure works because we have, the entire history of Bitcoin to prove that it works. And maybe their new plan of full blocks and high fees and the fee market and all that, maybe it will work. And in their theories, they think it will work, but we don't have any real world data to back that up. Whereas with the previous roadmap, we have years and years and years of empirical evidence showing that it does work, and it worked amazingly well. And so I'm terrified changing away from something that we know works and works incredibly well in favor of something that might work, but then again, it might not. And there's, billions and billions of dollars on the line. So that's what really scares me, is the veering away from something that we have lots and lots of empirical evidence for that it works and works incredibly well, to something that might work or might not work. And in theory, I think it's less likely to work, to be honest. But even if I give them the benefit of the doubt that the theory works, we don't have the empirical evidence to back that up at all. And I would much rather go with a system that has the empirical evidence and, 9-year-long track record now of success than with something that doesn't have, if anything, it has a negative track record at this point. Bitcoin's been losing a huge amount of market share since the blocks became full and the fees became high and the transactions became long. So that's where my biggest fear is.
Because that is the first thing on my list, because I got a little list
Okay,
here.
Perfect.
So I believe that the actual use cases for Bitcoin currently are insanely small. Newegg used to accept it. They stopped. Wikipedia used to accept it. they stopped.